In this overview that I put together, just the templates, we'll walk through this, and it basically has a note. It's sort of like your newsletter for the week. A note from the teacher, skills we're focusing on this week, maybe any reminders, looking ahead, kind of things like that. If you do a weekly live or something, you might put those in there. And then you might, I'm going to say I included a lot of options here based on your kids' ages, based on your program. If it's a 2-day program, you're going to modify this, of course, and also based on what your school is asking of you. I know in public school, many teachers are being asked to basically provide the entire full-day curriculum that they would. So I went for more. More is better because you can always delete and take away. So you might consider for each week providing a daily checklist, and this might have an activity. And again, you could differentiate based on the groups of your kids. So this might be read a book. It might be find 20 objects to count, or count, just practice rote counting. It could be super simple, sort of like activities you would pull from the homework calendars if you want, or just kind of things you might keep the same every week. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. The next option would be to provide a set of activities parents could choose from each day. Now you can decide whether all of these would be required or whether they would be suggested, or however you want to do that. But basically it would be 3 activities a day, and then I included a sort of week-long project. Again, what that will entail will be a little different based on whether you have a 2-day program or a full week program. But the idea is that kids would be sort of engaging in something in an ongoing task. And I'll give an example of that again in a moment. And then another option, if you don't want to give them everyday things to do, you could provide like a weekly choice version. And again, this is going to vary based on what your school is requiring. If you have to provide something with them to do every day, you're going to want them Monday through Friday. If you're just giving a sampling of activities, then this might be the better option. So here it would just be activity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little description to what they would be doing. And there would be also technology options, and I'll give examples of those. So this weekly choice options would primarily, well, entirely be offline, because this resource would be mainly for your parents who are working offline with kids. If you also want to include a technology component and just want to use the same thing for kids who are doing online and offline, you can add in technology solutions. So I know I'm covering a lot, and if you have questions, please add them in the comments. So here I did a little bit of an example for the butterfly theme, and just a little note on what we're going to be learning, a reminder about Google Meet, and then what's coming in the future, key skills to focus on, so the parents have just a quick snapshot of what the goals are for the week. And then with that daily checklist, I went ahead and just did it. I kept it non-thematic. So read a book, do a physical activity, practice counting, draw a picture, find the letters of your name in a book. And again, you can create 2 or 3 versions of this and differentiate based on the kids, your class. And for some, this may be enough, right? Again, it's all going to depend on what your program provides. For the project here, for the butterfly theme, would probably walk them through creating some sort of butterfly habitat. So it would be something like use recyclables or use craft materials, or use your favorite whatever they have on hand to create a garden where a butterfly might live. And then day 2 might be draw butterflies on a piece of paper that you can cut out tomorrow. Wednesday might be cut out your butterflies. Thursday might be use your butterflies and attach them to your model, butterfly garden. So you might just kind of break it out that way and sort of have a progression of a project. I like the idea of a continuing project. I think parents, as long as you made it broad in understanding, sort of like the take-home project, if it is something they can make it as simple or as elaborate as their family would like, right? So some kids might just draw a garden on the piece of paper. Other kids might create a whole model with recycled materials and all that. So let them kind of work to their own abilities and preferences. Same thing with the butterflies. You might have a paper butterfly, you might have a whole clay model, something. Providing a project approach and having sort of an wide open options is great. And then for the weekly choice options here, I just typed in activities kids can do offline. And then for the technology options, I put in a couple songs, a virtual field trip, and then some ways to use other technology resources. These are all editable, so you could change them, but I have, use your favorite free drawing app to draw a picture of a butterfly. So again, here the real challenge is, if kids don't have drawing materials at home, we can provide them with the app version, but finding what your audience has is going to be important to this. And there's a free pattern block tool online that kids can use to create their own butterflies. And you could have them record an audio or video. Again, these technology options are going to be for those families that are highly tech focused. The weekly choice options are going to be tech free. So that is just sort of the idea with the templates. And then what else did I do here? One more thing. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. The next option that I created is just a digital class meeting agenda. If you are meeting with your families or students, it's kind of helpful to have just a planning guide for you. So I went ahead and created one. You can think about what prompt you're going to have ready while kids wait. And then you can have your welcome and engage activity. If you sing a song, if you have like a challenge to, find out object that starts with B and bring it to show, whatever your challenge might be, your engagement activity to get kids involved, and then a read aloud, and then maybe one or two activities that focus in on skills that you need to cover, and then a reflect and goodbye. That would be editable, so you can switch it around. So that's an option if you were doing digital class meetings. The final thing that I created to go over, sorry, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. The final thing I created was just a sample weekly lesson plan. And again, a lot of this is fully editable because I don't know what you're being asked to do. And I know what people are being asked to do is from one end of the spectrum to the other. So we're trying to meet you where you are, where you're being asked to be, and maybe not necessarily what we think you should have to do. So I hope that makes sense. So you might, if you are teaching a full-time class and you are required to have student contact and required to essentially provide exactly what you would in the classroom, which we know is impossible, but stay with me. On Mondays, you might have a whole group class meeting where everyone comes in via Zoom or Google Meet, and you sort of set the stage for the week. You introduce your main kind of skill focus areas. And, that's where I would do some of this, adult-led stuff. Let's see, I lost myself. All right, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you might host a small group meeting. And those small groups might be, each kid may only do a small group once a week, or you may have kids who are, in an intervention process. Again, it's going to vary based on your school and program. You might have a kid who does two based on the focus. You might have a reading small group, a math small group, and then like a targeted special. Yeah, I'm glad you're liking these resources. Okay, and then on Fridays, you would bring everybody back and do a whole group class meeting, have kids reflect and share on what they did. Maybe, if they bring a photo of something they did or a work sample and kind of share just to kind of wrap up the week. And then this, of course, would all be digital and involve teachers. Oh, I forgot the individual one-on-ones. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And again, I know some teachers who are doing strictly one-on-one. They're not doing whole group at all. They're doing a video recording on Monday and a video on Friday. And they are just really focusing a lot of their during the week time on one-on-one with students. And again, if you have, students in special education program, again, I think what's good for one kid is good for every kid in different sense. Like, right, different kids have different needs regardless of whether, what their label is for school or not. But when you do one-on-one, you can really meet kids where they're at. And I've been surprised actually about the growth. Some kids I've, in just anecdotal conversations with friends, the growth that kids have made because of, the different approaches. So you can do a small group and then do one-on-ones with kids who need them, or you can do one-on-ones with all kids. Again, that's going to vary. And then let's see, the other things, so kids would be doing these, and then at home, they might do 3 activities per day, right? It might be, again, you'll have to decide that. Sorry, I thought I was flipping over, but from those templates we provided before, it might be do your daily checklist and pick one activity from the weekly choice option. You'll have to decide what is best for your kids, but you could also decide how many online activities they're going to do. Is it 1 per day? So lots of options here, kind of just trying to get a feel for what people are going to need, provide you with templates that you can start sampling. And I think what I'll probably do is get some of these templates together in a forced copy link that you can take them and kind of do with them.